Have you been told you're weird because you do things differently? Well, don't change to try to fit the mold. Most people perceive high intelligence habits as simple quirks, coldness, or craziness. But what many don't know is that only the smartest people do everything differently. Today, I'll show you 10 habits that prove you have a very high IQ. So if you want to know whether you have a very high IQ, or if you simply want to discover what your real level is, stick around. This video will help you a lot. Before we dive in, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and drop a like so you never miss any of our deep dives into human psychology. Let's get into it. Let's kick things off with number 10, your obsession with voluntary isolation. While most people panic at the thought of spending a Friday night alone, you see it as a sanctuary. For a high IQ mind, massive social gatherings aren't recreation. They're a complete energy drain. And science backs this up with hard logic. Being in a group forces your brain to work overtime, reading micro-expressions, interpreting tones of voice, tracking multiple conversations at once, and filtering out background noise. For a mind that processes information at full capacity, that's exhausting. But when you pull back into solitude, you activate what neuroscientists call the default mode network. It's in that wandering state that your brain truly shines, connecting scattered ideas and cracking complex problems that all the social noise was blocking. In fact, studies suggest that the brightest people report higher levels of personal satisfaction when they spend time alone than when they're surrounded by others. You're not antisocial. You're simply optimizing your mental fuel to create rather than just socialize. If the social drain feels overwhelming, try scheduling intentional solo time, not as isolation, but as maintenance. And we continue with number 9, the perfect system inside total chaos. Your desk looks like a war zone. Tangled cables, stacks of papers that seem completely random. But somehow you can put your hands on that tiny adapter in 5 seconds flat. That mess isn't laziness. It's an unconscious cognitive strategy. Research from the University of Minnesota found that cluttered environments actually spark a break from convention in allowing far more creative and innovative ideas to flow. In their experiments, people who worked in spotless spaces tended to play by the rules, while those surrounded by chaos came up with revolutionary uses for everyday objects. There's a massive difference between being dirty and being productively disorganized. Your brain knows exactly where everything is because you built that mental map yourself. When you enter a creative flow state, your mind refuses to waste a single drop of glucose tidying up books. It would rather spend that energy connecting dots that others can't even see. If someone challenges your system, try saying, "I know it looks like chaos, but I know exactly where everything is." That's what matters. Now let's talk about number 8, a curiosity that never shuts off. Well, you start at 3 in the morning looking up how paper's made and somehow end up watching a documentary about quantum physics applied to marine biology. What most people write off as getting distracted is actually the fuel of a genius. It's not getting distracted. It's your brain following the scent of something real. When you feel that hunger to know, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical, helping your hippocampus lock in information with incredible efficiency. Curious people don't just accumulate facts, they train their divergent thinking, which is the ability to see multiple solutions to a single problem. Those late-night rabbit holes aren't wasted time. They're the gym where you train your brain's plasticity. Keep a notes app open when your curiosity pulls you somewhere unexpected. Capture it in 3 words. Why, you'll be amazed what you find there later. And watch out, because what comes next can be genuinely draining. Number 7, your gut-level rejection of small talk. Generic comments about the weather or the usual, "How was your weekend?" feel like intellectual torture. It's not that you're stuck up. It's that your mental engine craves depth and refuses to idle. For someone with above-average intelligence, small talk is like trying to drive a race car through a packed parking lot. Technically doable, but frustrating and nowhere near peak performance. Studies show that people with high IQs get far more satisfaction from discussing concepts, theories, and systems than from exchanging autopilot pleasantries. Your mind prefers the challenge of learning something new or pushing back on a conventional idea. If you want to survive these situations, One effective trick is to flip the dynamic. Instead of asking how someone's day is going, ask them what's the most interesting thing they've discovered lately. Now pay close attention to number 6, analysis paralysis, or overthinking every single detail. Have you ever spent 10 minutes staring at a cereal box, comparing the sugar content, the price per ounce, and the warning labels? For most people, that's a waste of time. For you, it's advanced critical thinking in action. This isn't chronic indecision. It's thorough, multivariable processing. Neuroscience shows that overthinkers have significantly higher activity in the prefrontal cortex, the command center for complex reasoning. While others make snap decisions, you're running mental simulations and anticipating negative outcomes to avoid them. The hard part? Decision fatigue. By the end of the day, your brain has processed so much that figuring out what to have for dinner feels like climbing a mountain. One thing that helps, give yourself a hard deadline for smaller decisions, 60 seconds max. Save the deep processing for what actually deserves it. And hey, if you're relating to any of this so far, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It lets us know we're connecting with minds like yours. Let's keep going. Let's jump straight to number 5, the art of daydreaming at the worst possible moments. You're in the middle of a work meeting or a painfully boring class, and suddenly your mind clocks out and starts designing a new project or working through a personal conflict. That's not a lack of focus. It's your brain flat out refusing to burn its capacity on the mundane. When you drift off, your default mode network lights up with remarkable intensity. Far from being switched off, your brain is pulling a double shift in the background, processing memories and generating creative solutions through big picture thinking. Those aha moments that hit you in the shower or on a walk, that's the result of this invisible activity. It's not distraction, it's your mind doing the work that matters on its own schedule. Now close your eyes and tell me if you relate to number 4, your extreme selectivity when it comes to friendships. People have called you a loner, distant, hard to get close to. But here's the truth. You'd rather have 2 or 3 real confidants than a list of 30 party acquaintances. Science suggests this is a hallmark of high cognitive capacity, and maintaining a quality friendship requires a massive investment of mental and emotional energy. And intelligent people would rather go all in on a few relationships that bring genuine value than spread themselves thin across empty interactions. You look for people who challenge you, who share your deeper interests, or who fill your intellectual blind spots. It's not that you're cold or distant. It's simply a social survival strategy. You choose absolute quality over surface-level quantity, so your energy goes where it actually matters. And now let's get to number 3. Laughing at your own jokes even when nobody else does. You drop a sarcastic comment or a dry observation. Nobody reacts, but you're still cracking yourself up 5 minutes later. What might look like an awkward moment to everyone else is actually a sign of mental autonomy and independent thinking. It's not awkwardness, it's intellectual independence. Laughing at your own humor shows that you have your own internal standard that doesn't depend on the group's approval. Finding something funny that others completely miss requires a high level of abstract thinking and the ability to see layers of meaning that go over most people's heads. On top of that, it's a marker of psychological resilience and mental flexibility. You're confident enough to enjoy your own mind without the silence of the room shaking your self-assurance. But pay close attention to number 2, the constant use of sarcasm as your default language. If responding with a sharp, dry remark feels completely natural to you, you're doing high-level mental gymnastics. It's not rudeness. It's your brain operating on multiple frequencies at once. To pull off good sarcasm, your brain has to process the literal meaning, flip it on its head, calibrate it to the social context, and deliver it with just the right tone so the whole thing doesn't blow up in your face. That activates areas tied to language, social cognition, and abstract thinking, all at the same time. Research from top universities, including Harvard, has shown that sarcastic people tend to score significantly higher on creativity tests because their brains are wired to work on multiple layers of meaning simultaneously. It's pure intellectual multitasking, as long as you know your audience. And finally, the rarest trait of all. Number 1, compulsive pattern detection. You notice coincidences that simply don't exist for the rest of the world. You catch that your phone always glitches in a specific sequence, or you pick up on subtle shifts in someone's behavior before they even notice it themselves. Pattern recognition is perhaps the strongest single indicator of advanced cognitive ability. Your brain is built to find order within chaos, connecting dots and analyzing sequences that fly completely under the radar for the average person. This isn't paranoia. It's your neural system working overtime to make sense of the underlying structure of reality. You see the invisible threads that move things. And yes, sometimes that means you notice things no one else around you sees. That can feel lonely. But it's that very same ability that lets you anticipate problems, read rooms, and build solutions where everyone else just sees noise. You don't just experience the world, you decode it. That's not a quirk. That's not a flaw. That's exactly what makes you extraordinary. And that's a wrap. How many of these habits did you relate to today? Don't feel weird about it. You're simply tapping into a potential that very few people understand. Drop the numbers of the habits you recognized in yourself down in the comments. And if you want a part 2 diving even deeper into these behaviors, just type part 2. Don't forget to like and share this video with that one friend who's always felt like they don't quite fit in. See you in the next one.